Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Ava Edwards running for U.S. Senate in the great state of North Carolina in 2022. Why am I running for U.S. Senate? No one had asked me why. I know some of you had read my story on the website and some have not. Well, I will try my very best not to lose anyone, and I'll try my very best to respect those who have wronged my family and I while I'm telling my story. I was a very successful pharmacy manager until 2017 while compounding for a large chain pharmacy for several years without using any personal protective measures and equipment provided by the entity. I was diagnosed with cancer related to compounding biohazards. Following that, I was laid off from my employer in April of 2018. I did email the CEO at that time and several other people. I will not include just to protect their privacy, which did affect their promotion and triggered some anger from their side. I started, however, working for CVS right after, within a few weeks. It does help to know people. However, on April 26, 2018, we were hit with identity theft. The $6,000 that was a refund from TurboTax, IRS was taking in 6 different transactions via U.S. Bancorp. Just happens to be, I guess, my bad luck. I did have insurance at that time. My husband and I, we were customers for many years of this insurance company that's called LifeLock, Semantic LifeLock at that time. They changed their name to Norton 360, but no matter what you change your name, you're still who you are. So on April 26th, as you can see, who was involved in an identity theft was U.S. Bancorp, the IRS, CenturyLink and Comcast, who have been our providers in our house, Verizon Wireless, who was also our provider for over 10 years, University of Minnesota iTech, and I did involve them because my email was hacked several times, and I will briefly indicate how and when. And following that, we have 3 children. My husband and I, we do have 3 children, and they were at Sappy's school in Minnesota. We happened to have one of my children's best friends. His mom was among the employees who worked for LifeLock Insurance. The principals of the insurance company did change multiple times, and that's because Sabby's was actually a subsidiary / an alliance with LifeLock and Semantic incorporations. So I want you to keep in mind, I was a pharmacist who was triggered by compounding biohazards, developed cancer, filed a workers' compensation. And at that time, who is in charge is actually Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is Anthem, and that is the insurance company that my case was against. You have identity theft, and that is also handled by LifeLock, and LifeLock happens to use Sedgwick for its claim processor, same as Blue Cross Blue Shield / that entity I was working for. They also use Sedgwick. So in May 2018, I filed my insurance claim with LifeLock. I was informed that I do need to make a police report. I went to Eden Prairie Police Department, and I did make my report. As a person who really overtrusted people, I did listen to people without doing my own investigations, my own work. I did follow the advice that was given to me by Eden Prairie Police Department, and I did relocate. I did give up my phone number that I have had for 10 over years. Yes, it was not the smart idea. I do understand that. I submitted the claim to LifeLock, hoping they would turn things around. They would stand up for what they say they do. I relocated to an apartment building, which is by Lamar Executive Teams. Workers' comp claim kept getting canceled and rebooked, and it just got prolonged. While I was giving the runaround by LifeLock, I was advised to go and seek help via social media. If I were to go on social media and try to increase awareness about their behaviors and giving my family and I the runaround to getting our claim taken care of, I would actually be able to get some compensation. Did they settle? They did reach out to me via Twitter. It was in November. However, when they did that, actually, that was to ensure, number one, they have a complete control over my device because they already have our information. I already have their app on my phone. And I tried to speak with them. Did it go well? No, it did not. They actually slammed me saying, "With you need to go hire a man in suits to talk to men in suits like us." So, in summary, shortly after that, I went on Twitter again, and I did release some information that was related to Equifax data breach, and I guess it was information that I should not have known, but I got lucky and I found that information, so I did increase people's awareness. What happened? My account was taken down. Who took it down? It was DigitalOcean, and which is a company of Symantec. So you think if Symantec, LifeLock, or 360 Norton is an entity that's supposed to protect people and supposed to do its job, why would it have an entity of DigitalOcean that sells IP addresses to hackers knowingly? You know? So, in summary, you have a group that's called 1901 Group that is a subsidiary of a pharmaceutical company, along with a Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, which is Anthem. You also have communications that's controlled by Verizon, Comcast, and Apple. So you have all those entities that really have your information. It does not take much to harass you, to threaten you, to pretty much leave you until you're dead, literally. And that's all because their greed for money. So my workers' comp, I could not get it because Blue Cross Blue Shield slash Anthem slash 1901 iTech Group, they all lobby the government. The communications department that's actually ran by Comcast, they also lobby the government. LifeLock, Symantec, they also lobby the government. So who is protecting the people? And that's why I keep saying, as long as the politicians continue taking money, there is no way we will ever have real justice, accountability. Every entity that did hurt me, I am sure I am not the only person. There are millions out there. I already met several of them. But the greed is just has to stop. Every entity was a United States-based entity. That entity, when it was United States, it was very ethical. LifeLock was very ethical entity until it was owned and taken over in 2017 by Symantec. A CEO at that time was Greg Clark. Walgreens Pharmacy was an unethical entity until it was combined with Boots Alliance and its subsidiaries. Every entity that was initiated in the United States was ethical until it was taken over by someone else from outside. So if we need unity around the globe, we need to have those entities to be held accountable and responsible. And we need to take money out of election because, as you can see in the slide, that Blue Cross and Blue Shield, or the whole entire HMOs, they lobbied in 1 year almost $1 billion. And the cost is the people. You see here, Blue Cross Blue Shield in 1 year, 4,190,000. You tell me which law firm is going to take my case for workers' compensation or take others and stand up for their rights. You tell me which entity is going to stand up for Centene for a child that is being denied his services when politicians continue to take over $3 million every year, if not more. When U.S. Bank Corp, which got bought by an outside entity, will stand up as a banker and do the right thing. When are we going to hold those entities accountable and responsible? Bankers Health Group is another entity that really does need to be held accountable. When? I know one thing, one voice can make a difference, but I cannot make that difference alone. I really do need you. This story is not about me. I have met several people and I have seen people who died. I have seen people who committed suicide because they could not stand the challenge. Yes, I am lucky that I have survived, but I will stand my ground for the people. I do know my limits, but I'm asking those entities to stop being greedy and for politicians to stop accepting money, because yes, it does get you the seat, but you cannot serve the people and the entities. And so far, I came from a blue state, and that state did not serve my family and I after 20 years of paying my dues. I was left in the street. However, North Carolina has been good to me. So I am asking all the people to please wake up. It is not about blue or red.